It's Joyce from Deer Creek Homesteading, and I've been tagged in a farm tag from my friend Frugal Farmer, and it's a 10-question tag all about farming and homesteading. And I would like to tag my friend from Mitzi Creek Farm and Deer Park Farmsteading. So it's just 10 questions. I'm going to try and get this done pretty quick, but here we go. Let's see. First question is, what got you into homesteading? Well, I grew up on a farm as a kid, and I've always wanted to go back and do that again. I was in the military for 8 years. We traveled around a lot, but it was always the hope and the intention that we would go back to doing this someday. So nothing really got me into homesteading, except I was raised that way, and it's what I believe in as far as, you know, growing your own food, your own meat, your own garden, knowing where your food came from, knowing that it's healthy and fresh, you know, farm fresh eggs and meat. So nothing got me into homesteading. It's just the way I live and the way I want to live and what we believe in. Question number 2, what do you want to add to the farm in 2020? Well, I had a video on that. I think it's the last one I posted, and it's things we're going to do spring 2020. But the first thing on my list, we're going to add hopefully soon here. Well, actually that's not true. The first thing we're going to add is meat birds, but the big thing and the thing we've been waiting for since we moved in is we're going to get a pig. So what I'm going to add in 2020, my answer is going to be I want to add a pig. Let's see. Third question, what's the most difficult lesson that you've learned? Well, we've only been there a year and we just started out, so not a whole lot of crazy or difficult things have happened. We did lose a turkey in the beginning. That wasn't a very big deal. The most difficult lesson I learned, and I hate to admit it, but when I was breeding my rabbits, I got the timing all wrong, and the male and female were still together. We have 2 hutches, and we were in the process of putting a divider between the male and the female, the young female and the male, and then the adult doe and buck were together. And that weekend, 2 days before this happened, we were going to move everybody around again. I had the nesting box already. Well, I timed it wrong, and she had her litter probably an hour before we got home from work. I went to check on everybody. I saw fur in the corner of the cage. She was still with the male. I checked everybody. There were 10 big, fat, seemed to be warm babies, but the nesting box wasn't in there. And I quickly grabbed it, moved everybody around, put the babies in. Since she didn't have the nesting box, there was just a handful of fur, and before the whole box was full of it. It was cold. It was maybe a month ago, so maybe the end of January. I woke up in the morning and the whole litter was dead. So that was my, so far, most difficult lesson that I've learned is you got to pay attention. You got to get the timing right. You've got to do what you need to do and not think, oh, well, you know, I'll just do it tomorrow. So that was number 3. Question number 4, what's your favorite chore? I think my favorite chore would probably have to be collecting the chicken eggs. It's been a year and it did slow down through the winter, but still, every time I open the coop and look in the nesting box and there's eggs in there, I still get excited. I still get excited on how many there are, what color they are. I love messing with the chickens. Sometimes I like just sit outside in the spring and summer outside the coop and just throw them some stuff and watch them be silly. So my favorite chore would probably have to be anything having to do with the chickens, like collecting eggs. But I don't mind any of my chores, and I do like fussing around with all the animals and gardening. But yeah, egg collecting would be my answer. Question number 5, my favorite thing to grow. So far, we only had a small garden last year, and we're gonna increase the size and what we put in it this spring. But so far, and then probably will continue to be, I love growing pumpkins. It was so fun, you know, watching them grow and seeing how the vines just grew across the yard, and how many we got out of, I think I just planted 3. We ended up getting about 20 pumpkins. My husband helped me with it, and he was kind of excited about it as well. This year I had ordered some glass gem corn seeds, and I'm really excited to grow those. They're supposed to be super colorful corn, pinks, blues, greens, yellows. To me, they look like jelly beans on a corn cob. So that, I hope, will be one of my favorite things to grow. And excuse me, I'm going to take you with us when we go through all the planting of the glass jam and picking it, and we're going to sell it for just decoration. But pumpkins were my favorite thing to grow so far. Next question. There was a glare coming from this light and I can hardly read it. What do you like most about the homesteading community? Well, I only have a handful of channels that I watch and that I listen to. Maybe more than a handful, maybe 10 of ones I regularly watch and listen to. But what I've learned is everybody just seems super helpful and super willing to share their tricks and tips with everybody. If you have a question, I know there's several channels that both of them are really good with rabbits and one is really good with quail. Anytime I have a question about, oh my gosh, this happened, or what should I expect, they always answer me, and really, they've got thousands of subscribers, and they always answer me within a couple of hours, and they're more than willing to, answer any questions I have, give me advice. So I think that's what I like most about the homesteading community is they don't seem to, want to just keep everything to themselves and be stingy about things. They're just really warm and giving and ready to help somebody out, especially that's starting out new. So that's what I like about the homesteading community. Number 7, what's your favorite meal? Well, I'm on the ketogenic diet and have been for over 2 years. You can really only have meat, some veggies. It's high fat, low carb, medium protein, but sticking within that diet, which I would have eaten this even if I wasn't on that diet, is I like a really good steak and salad. I couldn't probably eat that every day of the week, but if someone asks my favorite meal, it's steak and a salad, and I really like a ribeye steak, medium rare, and a salad with lots of veggies and ranch dressing. So that's my favorite meal. Next question, my favorite holiday. My favorite holiday is Easter. To me, it's like the beginning of the season. It's starting to get spring, it's warm, the birds are out, you can go outside, you can have a picnic with the kids and hide the eggs, and with all the chickens and critters that I have running around. And my favorite thing to do is collect eggs. I'm kind of an egg freak. So my favorite holiday is Easter. Next. Is where you live now in your homestead going to be your forever home? I highly doubt it. I love our house. I love our property. I love everything we've accomplished and looking forward to things we're going to accomplish in the future. But here in Michigan is brutal. Winter is terrible. And the older we get, the more we find that we can still do the things we need to do. It's just a little harder. Things I didn't even expect to happen. I'd go to feed the chickens and all their doors are padlocked so that critters don't get in, and they were frozen. I couldn't get in, couldn't get to the animals. We did figure out a system as to how to water them and feed them if that happens, but I just wasn't expecting it. It takes extra time. So I think for probably maybe the next 7 to 10 years, we'll definitely stick it out and keep improving on things and keep growing the homestead. But eventually, we're probably going to move to a warmer climate where we can farmstead and homestead more year-round. We also have a Harley and we love to ride. That's half of what we do. We homestead and we ride, and maybe 6 months out of the year we can do that. So we'd like to move to a warmer climate where we can do our chores, not have to worry about driving in the snow, digging things out, and ride the Harley almost year round. Next question. Let's see. I'm doing this in order. Should be the last question. What homestead channels do you follow? Well, of course I follow Frugal Farmer. He's the one who tagged me in this 10 question tag. He's a great channel. He's got really good frugal ideas to help out around the farm. I've used a couple myself. I'm hoping to pick his brain on raising hogs when we get our hogs. I want to watch his how to make your own soap from home. So I really turn to him when I want frugal advice, or he's just super helpful to help you out with anything. The other channels I watch, I love Patera from Appalachia's Homestead. I can't wait every day for one of her videos to come out. The other channel is Good Simple Living and Homesteading. They're a couple with some kids, and they're about to move from Washington to Oregon, I think. And she's my rabbit go-to girl. She has tons of videos on rabbits, how to raise them, how to process them, how to cook them up, how to cut them up. So I go to her channel anytime she has a new video. She's really interesting and super helpful. And anytime I have a question, boy, that girl, she will answer you within an hour. And also, she's who I bought my glass gem corn seeds from. I ordered them on her Etsy shop if you're interested. Good Simple Living and Homesteading. They were super cheap, and I think I got 100 of them for like $7, and then she threw in extras. So, and then the third channel is called Slightly Redneck. His name is Chris, and he does rabbits and quail, and he's my quail and rabbit go-to guy. Anytime I have a question about them, I ask him. He answers right away. It's a really entertaining channel, lots and lots of good information. So those are my go-to channels for homesteading. So my 10 homestead questions, I'll list them below for the next tag. I hope I answered them all. Like I said, this light is so glaring I could barely see my own handwriting. So who I would like to tag to answer these questions next, I have 2 channels. My first channel is Mitzik Creek Farm, and my second channel is Deer Park Farmsteading. On Deer Creek Homesteading, they're Deer Park Farmsteading. So please go to their channels and check out their answers. I'm gonna let them know that I put this video up today, and their answers should be coming soon. This was super fun. Thanks, Frugal Farmer. I hope you guys all have a great day, and we will talk to you soon. If you'd like, check us out on Facebook, Deer Creek Farm. And if you like this video, or if you think you learned anything, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks, friends.